Aquarius, let's take a look at your zodiac sign and what I see coming through for you. It's going to be an interesting ride. Now, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you over the last few months have felt this significant shift. And that is particularly because we did have Pluto moving into your zodiac sign last month. It ingressed out of your zodiac sign and back into your 12th house. This is a unique month for you, and we are going to go through step by step how to navigate this to be in that awareness so things aren't happening to us. Let's dive into it. Okay, so the 5 must-knows, first and foremost, is the fact that we do have the full moon in Capricorn on the 3rd of July, which I will discuss how this hits your zodiac sign. The new moon in Cancer on the 17th of July. Now, both Cancer and Capricorn are the shadow sign to each other. And for some reason, I do particularly feel this is going to be quite significant, especially because Capricorn has been transiting your 12th house. And because for some reason it takes me back to 2020, big changes in these areas. Separately, it is a 20-year transit, and it has been long innings for your zodiac sign. So if you are feeling, oh my gosh, it's at the 29-degree point plus the moon, and our south nodes in Scorpio. So it's quite a double whammy there. It is going to be shifting, and you can find a significant shift in the first 2 weeks. Moreover, with Venus in the house of Leo from last month, we would have found some inklings around your romance, contracts, partnership zone. So this can be friendship. It can be the food that you were liking. It might be your style. It could be a love interest or a romantic partner. Venus is currently sitting in that location. So it tends to sugarcoat situations. It blesses us, but it's going to be going retrograde, and that's on the 23rd of July. And I will talk about how long it's there for, how to best navigate it, especially because this is quite personal to your zodiac sign as well. The other thing is our north node is going to be shifting. I believe it's on the 12th. We are going to have the North Node in Taurus and the South Node in Scorpio wrapping up in the first 12 days. And then we can have some ease with that Scorpionic energy where it can be liberated to a degree, especially because we did have a previous eclipse in Scorpio most recently. Next, it is moving into the house of Aries with the South Node in Libra. Again, I will break this down, especially for those of you that don't understand such. And what subject matters for the next 18 months can come up for your star sign. Chiron also will then join suit in the house of Aries in its retrograde by the 23rd. And this, to my belief, is going to support us in reflecting upon how to navigate that north node. So it's technically where we have the most wounds. Chiron transitions through the houses quite rapidly. However, in the house of Aries, because it is the first house, it does sit there a lot longer because we emotionally, spiritually, psychologically have more work in that department. So it's really quality assuring it. Now, first of all, we're going to look at this moon. As mentioned, it's transitioning over your 12th house. There could be some closure. There could be some revelations. You could be emotionally looking at things. There could be a new chapter in a home, in a family. And this could be a very psychic time for you also. This could be a time of closure. Now, it can be a point of peaking. A new chapter in your life can be coming, especially because it is the 12th house. And how we look at it is the 12th house to the first house. So when we're having an ending at an emotional level, if you had any fears and insecurities to do with fresh beginnings, whatever they would be, it is going to come to a peak point. Now, that is going to be around the 3rd, but I do really spiritually feel it's been playing out since last month from the 11th, and it's coming through this month. And it can still continue a week to 2 weeks after of that full moon, but a new chapter. This can be revisiting dreams, habits, subconscious mind. It also can be quite psychic. So if you did have some healing to the family, tribe, and ancestor that had transcended, this is going to help you come to terms with that. But it definitely is going to be a new beginning where if you were really stuck and trying to work something out and make a decision, I do particularly feel you could be making one. Now, we also have the new moon in Cancer. And I will say, we'll come back to the Capricorn. I'll write it down because I also have to mention that. I missed something, but we'll mention it inside your star sign. With this new moon in Cancer, it's a heightened point. It can relate to home, family, feminine feelings. It's a new moon. Full moons can be quite intense, but new moons also can be, because in order to have that new beginning, it can be an exciting situation that's opening up, and it can be something that we're working on. Each one will take about 6 to 12 months to do its first cycle, but there inevitably will be a change in these areas after each phase. This for you at a personal level does link to your 6th house. So it can be a new routine, getting into a routine, getting into a structure, getting the home organized, looking at patterns and habits and belief and confidence. How you can how you can make your life more structured. How sometimes simple is often the best. And, having a routine can also support you, especially if you do have some goals involved. You also could go into a new health kick. This can be looking after yourself. This can be looking at your routine or looking after children, depending on your circumstance. And there can be a structure surrounding relationships within your family environment that are changing. Especially if we are enabling individuals, we could relook at it. But I do particularly feel this can be a time in which you are, feeling more in yourself, creating a new routine, and having some goals and support. Separately, as we do move to Venus retrograde, this actually is your Venus house collectively. Now, if you are to go onto astroseek.com and type in AstroSeek birth chart, you can type in your time of birth. You can select unknown time. It's not going to give you the most accurate vibration of your chart, and then you would select planet positions. So you can put your name in, you can put your birth date, the time, if time unknown, click it, and what it's going to do is generate your chart. Then select planet placements. What you're looking for is your 7th house. Number one, this will relate collectively to your 7th house, so it's still going to relate, but you can dive even deeper into that to understand or book a personal reading. How to navigate the Venus retrograde. I always call it, it's like the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's what we're doing. We're restructuring what's working, what's not, in what areas, in love, in your style, in your body, in your diet. And I'm not saying you need to go on a diet. This is like food, friendships, romantic connections, how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about other people, a physical work contract, self-esteem and confidence. All of that is coming under this radar, and it is your 7th house. Can it show cracks in the system if there's conflict in a relationship? 100%. If the connection can't be renegotiated between, I would say, from last month, which might have for some of you been going quite smoothly. Blast from the past also can come back. So be it you're coupled or single, this is going to land. During its retrograde, it's a time to renegotiate the terms. What's working, what's not, their side, your side, value systems, and taking things to its next level. If it is a very toxic relationship and you're so fed up, by the time it does go direct in September, from the 4th, a lot of you may make decisions that can linger on through till October if you delay it and you need to sit with the vibration to get grounded. But if it was something that you feel is not resonating with you, for some of you, it could be such. Others of you, it can be that your relationship goes to the next level. This can be going from dating to moving in to getting engaged to getting married. Now, the marriage portal as well is better suited as it goes direct or prior to it retrograding. Evidence has shown in astrology that it is not the best time to dig in at a permanent level, because what you're going to be going through in assimilation is the good, the bad, and the ugly. If we're aware of that, we can actually have more patience. It doesn't mean to say tolerate every terrible thing that happens in a relationship. No, this is about truth. This is about, does it resonate with you? Is it working for you? How are you relating to this person? How can you how are they relating to you? And it can be, especially for those of you that are single, that people do come back from the past. Now, in navigating a new relationship, how I would navigate such is being aware that they also could be dealing with past individuals. So could it cause complication? Possibly. But it doesn't mean don't try something. It means you're reconnecting to it. You're going in gradually. You're building it up. There's a process. There's a method to the madness. So taking things slow, trying new things. It could be going to the movies. It might be gauging whether your ideals are on track. And it's through till September the 4th. So it's not a big wait. Is it okay to deal with those people of the past? Yes, because it's linked to the past, and it's okay. Are we back on the same table again? Do we have the same, view of what we want out of the situation? Are we working together now better? So it can also bring reconciliations back. I do have very separately a support hub online on YouTube, which I will be supporting the members in the top level membership. If you do want to join, come through. All information will be directly below. Now, as for Mars, it will be sitting in the house of Leo till the 10th. So your attention, it will be very active, but I can say it can cause fights. After that, it moves into the house of Virgo. So it can cause passion. I always call it the War of the Roses. Although Mars technically isn't really linking up, but it happens to be in the same zodiac sign. So for some of you, you may not be seeing eye to eye. Understand it's temporary. Try to have patience till the 10th, and then from there it can ease up. It doesn't mean to say that we're being an ostrich and putting our head in the sand. Take notes. As Mars moves into the house of Virgo, you are going to be looking at the sustainability, the give and take, secrets. Could it bring about secrets that cause conflict? Yes, it could. Are you going to keep your cards close to your chest and assess? I do believe so. Some of you, though, from a Mars point of view, may be more verbal and, expressing how you feel to do with things. Could it bring traumas up to do with betrayals? For some, yes, it could. It's 8th house, secrets. Separately, I do feel for partnerships, another way this can play out is directly looking at how to build a sustainable future together, how to pour that energy into the 8th house. This can be in the 8th house relating to tax, debt, legacies, inheritances, contracts, healthy codependency. What we can do, this can be something, again, Virgo can relate to health. It can be stresses and health. You could be expressing to each other, what are you doing versus what I'm doing? Now, this doesn't have to come down to just a romantic relationship. This could come down to your routine. Some of you could be waiting for information to come in. And it can be towards money that you're owing, and conflict, because Mars is there. But overall, on a passionate level of pouring energy into this location, which is a higher opportunity, really. This is the highest octave of what I see as a possibility. You would be pouring attention into this area with detail. Savings plans, your partner's resources, working hard to attract that, working hard to get things back on track, I do believe. Great time for checkups if we feel things are off. Now, the North Node currently is in House Taurus and the South Node in Scorpio. I will be going into the romantic sector shortly, where we will touch base on your love life and more. But with the North Node in Taurus currently till about the 12th, this was to do with home. There was a lot to do with home, family, children, routines, and the daily grind. The South Node was in Scorpio, really linking to your career sector or your personal purpose. So what you were going to be it was and these are various examples. It could have been a stay-at-home mum. It might have been a carer of an individual. It might have been issues or home-based businesses. These situations are shifting, and the area that can be enhanced now is your direct purpose. So you could be getting more into a routine. As the nodes shift, we have new subject matters for 18 months, which I do have a blog online that dives deeper into this. If you do want to refer back to it, all information is directly below. With the North Node moving into Aries, it does link to your third house. This can be contracts, this could be a car, this could be a new chapter, this could be selling vehicles, but it's also to do with what your routine is and how you communicate with your confidence. I do feel it's going to be quite structured. This could also be, can be a contract you sign up with. It can be something you're going into. I do directly feel this also can be paperwork and budgets. The South Node is moving into the 9th house. So it is Venus, but it's also going to move to the South Node. So what tends to happen is it's where things have become slightly stagnant and comfortable and it needs to evolve. So we move to the North Node to get that, which is Aries, in order to balance the South Node. But both theoretically are going to change within the 18 months. So that can be education, a situation with a sibling. This can be to do with long distance travel, holidays. That can be on the back burner, and you may be going into savings plans. You could be studying online. You may be starting a business online for some of you. Your communication style is going to be different, but it could be more local than, so it could be, if you were working, it'd be more local. It could be a home-based business. It could be online. It could be small trips you're going to be doing quite often. And it's the small things, but it's management in that domain. But I definitely feel study also from home is a possibility. Separately, the South Node is going to be changing. So your relationship with your siblings, this could be your values spiritually, the way you look at things, the way you look at the world, philosophy. Also, if it is a separation, I mean, can we look at the 9th house? We could, a separation, and therefore you have a different routine. Overall, though, to do with Jupiter, this also can be you wanting to go onto a health kick and some changes that you're making, for that factor. But it's keeping things simple. Regardless, I'll link it to various areas in your update. And Chiron also is going to aid this situation, okay? So if you did want to have a new beginning, wherever that links, we can go into it individually within your star signs. Now, romance, as mentioned, this month can be a little bit intense. You may need to be patient. Those of you that are single, yes, those blasts from the past can come back. This also can operate in a logical sense of having some massive revelations about your value systems and where you had a part in things and where the other person did. This is an opportunity to rework the things, the friendship groups, and the subject matters, and accepting the fact that some situations are changed and change is not necessarily bad. I do feel during this time, there can be added passion. You can be looking at changes in your nutrition, changes in your diet, changes in your style, self-esteem related dynamics. Saturn in Pisces and Neptune in Pisces is retrograde. And again, it does link to your 2nd house. So if there was a lot of money pouring out as well, or there was confidence related issues with it retrograding, you can have a little bit of an easier time to articulate how you feel and express what that boundary is. But I feel you're going to be very realistic. Love is going to be more passionate. And I do feel subjects that need to be addressed are really going to come to a head by month's end. They may show some signs, I would say, by mid-month, but as we do reach the 28th, I do feel you're going to be logically looking at things. This can be emotionally, how you're feeling towards situations, getting things back on track. You could have lady luck also in the area of wealth, but I do feel overall self-esteem and confidence, but having those candid conversations to get to the crux of situations in love, be it coupled or single. I also do feel, because of our previous moon, there were potentials of pregnancies. But again, I do directly feel in the initial stage, a lot of subjects to do with, your routine, maybe getting a bit more sleep, expressing love. And any criticalness I do feel is there to iron the creases out. But I do feel this is going to be a bit of a ride, and you're going to have to navigate this cautiously as Mars moves into the House of Virgo. Now, career and purpose, this could be changes, but this could be some liberation as well. Some of you, it could be that you start a course. Others, it could be directly you could be getting new technology to run a business. This could be you sending resumes out, but I directly feel you could be looking at something that is more sustainable. Those of you in career could be going up the metaphorical ladder, and it can be because of your work that you put in over the last 18 months. I do think there's potential of changes. Some of you could actually have superiors leaving and positions can open. An inkling of such, I do feel, for some of you can come through. The other thing I would say is these new chapters I do particularly feel are going to come quite quickly. This could come near the full moon for some of you. And I do feel that decision to do such, maybe through necessity, but for some of you, I do directly feel there's a high possibility of looking at the long term. Some of you, it could be that you're deciding to look at the monetary sense of the contract. It's like, okay, what is this giving me? How can I get my budget back on track? Do I need to transition into a second job, or can I do something of a hot side hustle? If you're running something to that degree, I do feel between now and October, you will be reworking it. This can be facelifts, beautifying, stock takes, looking at what's working and restructuring. I still feel this will be relevant to your zodiac sign, even inside of career. So contracts can be changing in some shape or form. You can be looking at the routine. You also may need to be quite organized. But you're also very good at organisation. You could be sensitive during this time, and I do feel some of you are going to need more sleep. The other thing that can be coming through is that if you were studying, you could pass a certificate. Others of you, it can be that you had been traveling for work. I do feel some of you can be doing this differently. So this can be more in a physical location, wanting to be closer to home. Or yet again, you could be going into a different department and wanting to transition. Now, in the wealth house, it's actually good for advertising too. So doing things differently, I definitely feel doing things differently. The wealth zone, look, Saturn is going to aid you in getting your wealth under control. Saturn in Neptune was problematic. Saturn, what am I talking about? Pisces in Saturn is going to aid that. Pisces in Neptune doesn't. Okay, so it's like now they're coming together in their retrograde, aiding you to build your wealth up, to really evaluate what's necessary in life. And I would not be surprised if you've become very practical with what you need. Sometimes it even can get to the stage where we become minimalists. It might be we're looking at the realism of what's needed, what the attachment to our assets are, what those dreams are, and reworking them. And I do generally feel for you as an Aquarian, you do tend to have a great taste, but it's quality. It's something that's sturdy. I do feel you're going to be over the next few months really reworking your budget. And I do feel during its retrograde, any pressure, if you had copious amounts going out, repairs and replacements and delays, it can start easing up as it does move into the retrograde. And you can, again, similar to Venus retrograde, quality assure your finances. Separately, I do feel that with Jupiter in the house of Taurus, I do particularly feel you are going to be beautifying your house. So there can be big changes with that. There can be incomes that you can directly generate through your home. There also could be, again, beautifying, repairs of goods, changes. There's lots of changes that is happening. This can be with your family, with your home, with your children, and also with love. But I do feel it can be quite a social hub this month. And your house could be more busy than you naturally feel. But I also do feel, because Jupiter will be there for 18 months, a secondary opportunity for wealth creation is in the house. Now, you could be a little bit critical on yourself this month, Aquarius, and that's because, like I said, Venus is going retrograde, so it can be, okay, do I love myself? Is there a checkup I need to have done? Do I need to eat healthier? What can I do to become more structured? I also feel some of you also could have felt that it's time to really articulate how you feel, I would try to, as much as possible, especially as we do have Mars in various positions, really highlighting our charts at the moment, there can be an aggressive energy. And that will be collectively, not just for your zodiac sign. So a tip I always give, especially to my patrons, especially in the coaching, is think of a carpet. And this is about looking at it from an external point of view, but knowing how we actually operate in sort of stressful situations. And it's like, it's nothing, sweep it under the carpet. After a while, that turns in that small carpet turns into a mountain. And then it blows up and it's screaming and it's upset. What we want to achieve is assertiveness. And, especially over the years, learning to own our voices and expressing ourselves. It doesn't have to be loud. It can be just direct. And saying it when it requires to be said. There's sometimes a lot of people will avoid actually saying things because they're quite worried about how a person will take it, or is it socially appropriate? And there's always a nice way we can say it, but it can be just to the point. So I would say with your throat chakra, really caring for yourself. I would say also getting burnt out as a potential, and assertiveness. Assertiveness is going to come through for your zodiac sign, and healthy boundaries. I would say don't rush, especially with driving. Eat slowly. There is a possibility. Mars is moving quickly. Okay. So what I would say is you could be attracted to spicy foods. You also may eat too quick. Try to chew your food and not choke, because it is your throat chakra. So it will be sitting there for 18 months. Be aware of that. And especially don't rush while driving. You will need to protect your assets also. During Venus retrograde, I would also say feminine cycles can be heavier. I would also say look after your safety. So this is times where in social media we may see people getting abducted, things to do with children online. And that is because Leo can relate to children, women, Venus-related dynamics. So good security on the house, being aware of your surroundings, protecting yourself, and just being aware of it, really. And that's the best you can do. Separately, the thing I did want to mention to you earlier is with Capricorn transiting your 12th house. If you've kept things on the up and up, something could be coming to a head. If there was a situation, because 12th house can relate to, various locations. Let's put the Capricorn moon up. Okay, it's 12th house. So this can be from an astrology point of view. It can be mental asylums. It could be in prisons. It can be gurus. It can be psychology. It can be patterns, especially if we've had a habit to cope with our stress. Psychology, counselors, coaches. You could reach closure, as I mentioned, but it also can be like if we have misbehaved, it's Saturn, but it's in Pluto. Something that hadn't been resolved, maybe it was a situation, you were in trouble and you had to, it could come to a close within the first 2 weeks. So that was another thing. So the situation can close, it can shut, it can be, and just put your best foot forward, really, and endeavor to proceed. Now, like I said, if you do want that added support, we do have Mind, Body, Soul on our top level on YouTube. If you do want to come through and join us, feel free. Otherwise, I will see you for your next month's update. Good luck. Have a great month. And know that these tips I've given you this month are here to help you, not scare you, to support you so you can deal with those circumstances more effectively. Take care, beautifuls.